a way to say that some of them are somehow could be how do I put it now? Could be questioned, because what you have on ground, what you have, the practical aspect of it,
yes,
sometimes put you to a very serious test.
yeah,
And if you go on and work the way it had been, it had been expressed in the training,
yes,
sometimes you just get home, you find yourself breaking down, as it were. So I don't know. The lecture sounds very good, very interesting, practicable, but human beings for who they were, some of the things that that were taught, that you think you can practicalize,
yeah.
you get a block of people that are very troublesome, and you just have to, I don't know, I can't express it.
Do you want to give an example of one of such, for example, so that I can have
yes. When I said the week was perfect,
yes,
but hectic at the same time.
yeah,
These are the things. There's a situation where you feel that somebody who had been, he had been performing very well, but all of a sudden, because technology refused to be kind to us for the period when we were under pressure, it became nasty.
yes,
Nasty. When I say nasty, really, really nasty.
yes.
And he was expecting that I would speak back, but I didn't. I didn't speak back.
Yes.
But it gave me a bit of a, I wouldn't say blood pressure, but I was hot myself. I wasn't happy.
What was your frustration?
The frustration was that, okay, you can't come up with these numbers.
Yes.
And we have to prepare this budget for the council.
Yes.
Let us go manual.
Yes.
He said, no, he said that is not his duty, it's not his job. He cannot go manual. I said, okay, I will go manual. I will do it. And we have very short time to present to the council. I will do it.
So
I started doing it myself.
Yeah.
And he walked away. He walked away out of the premises.
Yeah, so you were frustrated that he couldn't respond in line with your expectation in that circumstance. But has that circumstance happened before?
No, not at all. Not at all.
So that was the first time that that would happen.
Yes.
Okay. Have you seen that kind of reaction from him before? This
is what I'm saying. He had been good. He had been good.
So it was somebody that was okay. Otherwise, it was okay.
Yes.
It just happens. It happens that one of the tools that he works with failed, or was failing, or was holding him back. And,
holding him back.
And that was why he reacted in the manner that he reacted. So the reason that I'm raising those questions is to address your frustration, and is to say that, and this is part of what you would have had, at some point in the program, in the Smart Leader program. You have to be, the reason you shouldn't have been frustrated, you shouldn't be frustrated at all, is that on a good day, that is somebody who has been responsive to your leadership. That's somebody you have been pleased with. But that person has not, your job is not done on that person yet. Perhaps you may even have thought that that person made good progress under your leadership. And so because of all the good things you were seeing, because of how responsive he was. But you ought to be thankful that that situation happened, because what that situation did was to open your eyes to aspects of that person's personality and development that you still need to work on. That's what has happened. That's why I said, has that situation happened before? The man has always, or the woman, whoever, has always been working with the tools. Those are, and rightly so, those are the tools that he was given to get the job done. And this man hasn't been found wanting. You have been quite pleased with the way he's conducted himself, the way he's worked, the way he's responded to your leadership. So this is an exceptional situation. And an exceptional situation does a number of things for the leader, especially if you are very sensitive. One of the things you have to ask yourself is that this guy is not normally like this. So what's going on? So that should put you on notice. By putting you on notice, it serves as a way, as a caution that don't come to a conclusion yet, because this appears to be exceptional. This is abnormal. Why is this happening? So you must be trying to find out, what's the justification for this? What provoked this? This is an aspect of this person that I have not seen before. Now, remember, Ma, at a point in that program, I spoke about the concept of washing your subordinates' feet. And, and one of the things that was emphasized there is this, is that there is a risk that every leader runs, and you must be careful not to, allow that risk to crystallize. What is that risk? The risk is thinking that the person that is under you has become, has responded so well, they have matured so well, that they have also succeeded in hiding certain attributes from your eyes. So you think you know that, you think you have done a good job to prepare that, and yet there are aspects of them that you haven't known. And those aspects, if you don't know them and you don't deal with them while they are under your leadership, when they leave you and they move on, is going to cut them short. So in this fellow's case, you are seeing a side of him that you haven't seen before, that has always been there, but was brought to the fore by an incident, by a circumstance that has never happened before. You ought to be very thankful for that. As much as it made you frustrated, but if you put it in context, you would agree that, okay, I didn't see this coming. I didn't expect this kind of reaction. This is an aspect of this fellow that I need to deal with. And what is that? That means that this person expects everything to be prim and proper. This person is not very prepared yet to improvise. And therefore, that is lacking if he's to become a successor leader. He must be able to improvise. You demonstrated that leadership because you took hold of the situation, you did what you needed to do without getting into any altercation, so that at least that matter is resolved. And the matter was resolved. And by the way, he knows you resolved the matter, and he knows that you had to do it the manual way. Make no mistake about that. You may not like it, but he has learned. He took notice of that, and that's learning. Now, it is what do you now do following that incident? You have work to do now to address that aspect of the development, the process of maturity, that you are onto with that fellow. That's what you need to do. Because
but I need to, it happened this week. Next week, I will call him and sit him down.
Correct.
I will ask him questions.
Yes.
I need to ask him questions.
Like what?
I will ask him what really, entered his brain or his mind.
No, don't use the words like that, please. Don't ask what entered his brain or what got.
Maybe I should ask you what really happened.
No, without, please, the use of language is very important.
I know.
And remember also what we said in the program about the concept of forbearance.
Mm-hmm.
We can be surprised as leaders by the reaction of our people, to the extent that we've never seen them like that. But it is important that we give them the benefit of the doubt and try to understand what could have gone wrong. Now, if the truth must be told, if my job is such that I need the system to get my job done, the way my job has been defined in the organization is that I use the system to get my job done. Now, I am perfectly within my right to complain when the system is not working. It is not my responsibility to make the system work. It is somebody else's responsibility. So quite frankly, what you are even asking for, that he should now do something, manually, is beyond his call. That's the truth. That's the truth. If it has not, if it's never happened and nobody has ever complained, you are expecting an extraordinary reaction, a show of understanding from him. So he doesn't quite appreciate that yet. And so when you are sitting down with him to deal with the issue, your disposition should be to try and understand where he's coming from and why did he hold the kind of position that he held, and to show understanding. And then to go to the level of letting him know that, look, you are going to become a leader. I mean, assuming you were to succeed me, yeah. Mm-hmm. And you were in that situation, the council is waiting for you. The board of the institution. What are you going to tell them? How will you look? Especially when there was an alternative that you could have followed. Yes, I understand that the system is supposed to work. You are not the one to make the system work. It's somebody else's job. However, you must consider other factors. That's how true leaders, react. They must be able to improvise, and it always pays. It's not every time that, you have all that you need to have to get your job done, especially when they are exceptional. Mm-hmm. That situation was exceptional. So you too ought to understand. So that kind of approach will humble him and get him to think along the lines of, okay, perhaps my reaction was excessive. All right. Truly, what if I was the one in charge? Will I go and tell the council that the system wasn't working, so I couldn't prepare my submission? Wouldn't that look irresponsible? You know, that's, in my view, how to deal with somebody like that. So you give the benefit of the doubt, you forbear, you sit down and have a sincere discussion. Don't insinuate and don't use a language yet that can, put him, that can make him look stupid, because any of us could do that. Any of us could do that. If you employ me for a job and my laptop is part of what I use for the job, and I've been doing it all the while, and you have been okay with my job, if I have problems with my laptop, as a result, that is not my problem. You can't hold me responsible. And if I refuse, to work, except if the system is up, you still can't hold me responsible. You can't even mark me down if you were doing an appraisal on that basis. Why? Because I'm not responsible for providing the tools for my work. It's my employer that is responsible for providing the tools. But you and I know that that's not the way to go. The way to go is to get him to understand that today it is about your computer. But the larger issue is how do you react when certain conditions are not fulfilled, as a leader. So that way, they start thinking, what if I'm the one that was in Madame's shoes? How do I go to the board? What do I say? How does it make me look? And that way you begin to get, the message. And I would say finally, so that we can take, I think Mr. Hussein is also back with us so that we can take his point. I would say finally that every time that a leader sees a weakness, a gap with those that you're supervising, one of the things you must be ready for is that when you make corrections, they wouldn't just buy it once. Nobody except, I have really worked with you for long and I'm really committed to you. That's when you can expect that you correct me once and I will just change like that. But people don't change just by correcting once. And that tends to get some leaders frustrated. And so you hear something like, is it that you didn't listen to me? Is it that you didn't hear what I said? I thought I told you don't do this thing like this, and you are still bringing it to me like this, and they get frustrated. And it's not being realistic, because even we as individuals don't quite change at the snap of a finger just because you said, okay, don't do this again, you should do this. And if we do, it will be because we have been around for longer than they have been around. We have seen things more than they have seen. So we're a bit more flexible, we're a bit more understanding, and so those are some of the things that we need to, to bear in mind. It may have to do with our expectations and with how we understand the circumstance, of that in which we're trying to handle issues. But, I don't know whether some of those will help you.
Thank you for your advice, your
all right, I think Madam has dropped off. All right, Mr. Hussein. Is Madam back?
I'm back.
Oh, okay.
It's the network.
Oh, yeah.
So right. I was saying that your explanation, is quite supportive of the approach I would take, but for the language, that I have noted. But I want to believe that it will be resolved by this coming week, because he will, I'm sure he will come himself to discuss with me, or, if I notice that from the beginning of the day on Monday, he had not, come to my office, or he had not show concern for the job.
Yes.
Then I will call him myself. But I know his nature is very soft. But he just gave me a shock this week gone,
Well,
that
so
he will react in that manner. I was just shocked. And that was why I was going to ask what really went into him, because he wasn't such a person.
Yeah, but hello, you remind me, it's an area of vulnerability. It's vulnerable, in that area. And you saw that something happened that provoked that reaction. And his attention needs to be drawn to it so that he can deal with it. Because if he doesn't deal with it, like we always say, tomorrow somebody will use it against him. If he does not deal with it, somebody is going to note it, and he may not know, and it will be used against him. And it can be used against him at the height of his career.
Exactly.
And then he will react like that. And unfortunately, it would be the wrong time to react like that, and he will regret it. So those are some of the things that you may also want to share with him. Mr. Hussein, thank you very much, Mark. Very, insightful and tricky situation there. Thank you. But
thank you for submissions. Thank you.
Mr. Hussein, please go ahead. Let's share you.
Good evening. Thank you so much for this meeting. This is actually my first time attending your meeting. I've always been on the road.
Okay, you're welcome. Good to have you here. We discuss leadership here. So you have any leadership issues for us?
Yes, it has to do with my place of work, but I really saw it challenging. I used to work somewhere, and getting there, getting to this new place, things are quite kind of different. Okay, one of it is that if I'm sending an email to my line manager, if I send an email to my line manager concerning an issue I need to be solved, I need to be solved in the office.
Yes.
I won't need to copy someone. It has to be just the line manager alone, and it kind of slows the process down.
Yes.
For me. So I've been talking with my colleagues. Maybe if I have to send to maybe her immediate boss, or copy another maybe relevant stakeholder within the office there. But the answer I'm always getting is a no, that I have to send to the line manager, to my line manager directly, and not copy anyone else. That's one. Then secondly, still with the line manager, in a place whereby decisions are being made and it affects you and you're not carried along. Okay, this is what I mean. Maybe when I'm in a project now. This is what happened. I'm in a project now that we're doing in a community within the office.
Yes.
And my land manager is telling her immediate boss, who wants us to do the work immediately, telling the immediate boss that we've already launched out into the field while we haven't gone out to the field yet. Yeah. So the land manager is saying we've been going and be coming back to the office, but we've never gone to the field. And we never knew this has been on until one day she was saying it on phone, and we were shocked. So like there are a lot of things we've been asking for in the office, and they were not being done. So how do I work with that? Because it's kind of difficult to work with the line manager. She's very nice, but when it comes to that office work, there are problems. So I've made up my mind that whether it is or not, I may have to maybe escalate some things. I don't know, because it's kind of difficult. Because when questions now come to me, I'm giving responses. I not knowing she already has responses that she has given because I wasn't carried along. I don't know if you get it, sir.
Yeah, I do.
So when an email comes to me, when I respond.
Hello.
from what because she already has the image, so it's kind of difficult working. So how do I really, I find it difficult to work with her in that area.
Okay, you have raised some very important issues, very critical issues. How do you work with your leader? Some elements of what you have mentioned may have to do with office politics. But let me start with the second one. Before I even address that, let me clarify what is the nature of the work that you do, and how are you currently working? Are you working virtually, or are you both present, within a physical office setting? Is she within reach physically, or is it this virtual work that
She's within reach physically.
All right, she's within reach physically, so
yes,
you can.
Yes.
So she's somebody you can walk to her office and and talk to, isn't it? You can walk to her office and talk to her.
Yes, I can.
Okay, so let again, before one jumps into conclusion, it's good to ask a few questions for clarity. Now, so basically on the second issue, as far as you are concerned, she's been lying to her own superiors about doing some work, whereas that work is not being done.
Exactly.
Okay, now, how did you get to know that she was lying?
Okay, the superior called her.
Yes.
And was for a figure of data, which we couldn't get, which we've not gotten. So when he asked, so she gave him a figure. The figure was 500, but she now
who asked you?
No, her superior asked her, what is the figure that we've gotten from the field?
Okay, so
the target was 500. The target is 500, but she now said 300.
So how did you hear?
Yes. So they were talking. So she came out and met us. So she was not telling us that we don't have any time to wait again. We just have to launch out into the field. So the man was not asking her, why should we be on 300? We should have gotten 500 by now. She now say, yeah, that we're able to get a 300 because we have been going and becoming.
So she was the one that owned up to you.
No, she was telling him that we've been going and been coming. So that's when I heard her saying that we've been going and been coming, when we've not gone at all.
Okay, so you overheard her.
Yes.
All right. Okay. You said she's a good person. What's the nature of your relationship with her?
Very cordial, very good, very smooth relationship.
Okay, so what I would suggest to you is that you try and look out for a time that she's upbeat, all right, or that she's happy, or she's in a good mood. Okay. Look out for when that time, and then approach her physically at that time. When you do, excuse her, all right, that you would like to discuss something important with her. And, hopefully because of the good mood, she will oblige you because of your relationship. Now, if she does, then you will present that your concern to her. Okay, but don't say to her that she's lying to her boss.
Yes.
And don't insinuate it. What you will say is that you observe that it appears that this work, you ought to have gone to the field long before now. And that, you know, you are really not sure of why you haven't gone to the field. That, and it would appear that her boss is really on her neck to get results. You know, that why doesn't she work out a plan? I mean, let's work out a plan to get on the field quickly so that, you know, she'll find it more comfortable giving him results about the progress that you have made. And then you volunteer that you don't know in what way you can help to make that happen. You know, that you feel that her boss has a great expectation from her and she needs every help, and that you guys are there to, you know, to do the work, you know. So what can you do, you know, to facilitate it so that you get to the point where, you know, she's more comfortable giving a feedback to her boss, you know. Now, if you look at the way I've described that, your goal is not to scold her. Your goal is not to make her look weak. Your goal is not to ridicule her. Your goal must never be to expose her. Your goal must not be to undermine her in any way. And you may not, you know, be trying to achieve all of that, but it's also important that she does not perceive that that's what you're trying to do. Because, you know, perception is just as dangerous, you know, as reality. What she will see is somebody who is not trying to, you know, I mean, to punch holes, all right, or to make her feel uncomfortable, but somebody who is offering to help. My expectation is that, and the truth is that she will feel more comfortable if she has credible feedback or results to give to her boss. So now that you are offering to get the thing up and running, she will listen to you. She will support you because that suggestion is about trying to make her feel good in the eyes of our boss. All right? She will be more responsive and that issue will be solved. And she won't have to lie again because she will do whatever she needs to do to get you guys to the field. And you guys can start collecting, you know, and can start giving her feedback. And you know as well that she's running behind, and it's important that, you know, that you give her something to work with. So you guys are likely to really put in a lot of effort so that you make her look good. What's the bottom line? It's important to make your boss look good. It's important to try and manage your boss. Don't try to undermine the person. I am not supporting that she's lying, you know, but I'm saying that your point of intervention now should not be about whether or not she lies, because if you go that route, there will be a backlash, all right? And your cordial relationship will be affected, you know, adversely, and you will not have the opportunity to be able to draw attention to what she's doing, all right? In order for you to address that lie, it's not the first thing to do. The first thing is to address the root of the lie. You know, the reason she's lying is because that job has not been done. If there are people on the you know, field who are already doing the job, why would she lie? She won't need to lie. But you see, some leaders, some bosses are like that. They are slow, they procrastinate. So they won't mobilize quickly. You won't even know the reason. But that's just because they procrastinate. What they should do today, they leave it till next week. All right. And then they get themselves into a corner where their bosses are asking questions. And they are not going to tell their bosses that we have not mobilized to site or we haven't started the work for their own self-preservation. It is not good. I'm just explaining why some bosses get themselves into that situation. Now, when you notice that as a subordinate, you don't try to rub it in for your boss. You try to help your boss out of situations like that, knowing that they have shortcomings in that area. And when you do that, guess what will happen? Your boss will appreciate it. Your boss will take note of it. Your relationship will be better. You will get closer and you would have the opportunity of drawing her attention, even if it's informally, to that tendency. One day will come when you are chatting on a lighter note and jokingly you will tell her, but madam, that thing is not, I mean, we could have done that job instead of telling Oga that we have started. You know, please, if you just, when jobs like that come, if you just need me, just tell me, whatever way, we get it done so that you have something to report and something credible. If you do it that way, you will see results that you'll be wondering, is this how it is done? That's how it is done. That's how it is done. Now, so the issue of you not being carried along, I don't know what you mean by carried along. You are not the one they're asking for results. So your boss is the one that has responsibility. Of course, you want her to carry you along, but again, one of the ways you achieve that is the process that I've just outlined. If you show that interest, if you are projecting that your interest is to make your boss feel good, you know, is to project your boss as credible, you know, you will find that she would also you would become one of the people that she takes into confidence. So if she wasn't carrying you along before, she will start carrying you along better than now.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you so much, sir. You actually used one response to answer both.
Yeah, you know, so,
yeah.
So if you do, you know, if you go that route, you can give us feedback, you know, at subsequent sessions, and we'll see how it goes. But I'm confident that, you know, when next you come back, you would have seen improvement in you know, in your relationship with her and the way that she conducts her business as well. All right. So okay, so I hope, anyway, you said that you know, we have used one stone to kill two birds there, so I guess you are satisfied. Do we have any other contributions before we wrap up for today? Do we have any contributions? I don't know if Mr. Igwe wanted to say something earlier on. I think there was a time that you unmuted your mic. This is Smart Leader Live. We discuss issues of leadership here, either with respect to the Smart Leader program, which is a 30-day program that trains smart leaders smart learners into smart leaders. So we give this as an opportunity for question and answer. The program is 30 days, it's video-based. You get a video recording every day. And so I give this opportunity once every week so that you can interact with me being the facilitator and you can raise any issues. But we also open it up to any other person who has interest in developing their leadership competence, you know, in also resolving whatever challenges they may be facing at work, you know, that they can bring it here, and I will be willing to provide counsel. And we also can hear the counsel from any member of the, you know, of the group, anyone in attendance. So please feel free. All right, I think I see Mr. Raphael's hand. Mr. Igwe, please go ahead while you are unmuting your mic. Let me acknowledge Mrs. Oyinyechi. You are welcome again. And I don't know whether it's Mrs. or Mr. Olashubomi. You are welcome as well. All right, sir. Mr. Igwe.
Okay, thank you very much. For me, I'm just appreciate you and the organizer of the program. This is my first experience this platform, and when I was invited, I was highly appreciative. And this is the first experience. Probably, I pray in subsequent program, let me be informed because I'm very much interested in the first experience of this kind. So I appreciate you and appreciate another person who have made a contribution. You know, our experiences in leadership comes in different way, in different form, in different style, because of our differences on handling issues, also differences, the type of work we do in the office, and the people who interact and relate effectively on daily basis. Actually, most of the time is always quite challenging, but realizing whom you are in a place makes a difference. The situation when it comes, you don't use a harsh way to handle the situation. Some situation may come in situation in a way that when it happens, you keep mute and reflect over the issue. Then subsequently, probably the following day, you may be in a better position to resolve the problem. So to me, I very much appreciate the program. I'm Dr. Raphael Itu, and I wish to be part of the program continuously. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Raphael. You're welcome. It's a pleasure having you in attendance. We look forward to seeing more of you at the sessions. And thank you for your contribution. Thank you for your contribution.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
All right. So do we have any additions from Mr. Oni? Anything for us? I'm hoping to see your face one of these days and to hear from you. Since you are not showing your face, you shouldn't be as shy as, except of course, you just feel confident to use, I mean, you know, more comfortable to use the chat. Madam, Mrs. Godwin, do you have any question for us?
No, sir.
Mr. Olashubomi or Mrs. Olashubomi, do you have any question for us? All right, I was, all right, before everybody came, I think when Madam was here, when, what do you call it? Dr. Akonji was here, I think she came in pretty early. I was sharing with us a mini course that I just did, trying to explain, to give 7 reasons why people won't follow you as a leader. And that's the video that you find on your screen. Okay, so I'm just going to, I think for everyone that has shown up today, I would oblige you access to that recording. I think it's just about 40 minutes. And I walk through 7 reasons why people won't follow. And the reason, you know, is very important because I was, you know, reading in one of the groups that I belong to on LinkedIn, Leadership Think Tank. There was a question there, you know, trying to understand what are some of the issues that leaders are facing. It was a question that was posed to leadership coaches. And so people were sharing, you know, what they have been having to advise or to coach leaders on. And, you know, this was one of the areas. Leaders getting frustrated about their inability to secure the commitment of, you know, people to follow. And so I thought, let me speak to that issue. And so I just thought to share like 7 reasons, even though I have twice as many reasons, but so that the video is not too long, I try to share just 7 key reasons. So I will send, I'll send a link, to everyone in attendance, so that, as my special gift for this, for attending to this session, and hoping that you would find value in it as well. All right, so I think we can
Thank you.
close the session here. Thank you very much. I would leave it playing a bit for whoever wants to listen a bit more. Otherwise, we'll bring the session this week to a close. Once again, please feel free, invite your colleagues and friends, invite those you believe can benefit from, this here. Our discussion is on issues of leadership. Leadership is so important. All of us, are suffering the lack of it at different levels, whether it's at national levels or at any other level right now. This is our own way of speaking to the issue and making contributions. When leadership is right, everybody will feel the benefit, everybody will feel we experience better comfort, the full potential of the people, and given expression. When leadership is not quite in place, credible leadership, then everybody suffers. Everybody suffers. All right. So once again, thank you very much. God bless you, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Not everybody is destined.
Good night.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good night.
Good night, man. God bless you, man.
Bless you too.